All right, folks, this is Rebel Rousing Rich Bergeron. Right. Well, the big fight we were previewing last time we were on the show live, we were talking about Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman. And I did the old pick it but don't pick it. I, I said either Keith Thurman by knockout or Manny Pacquiao by decision. So I was half right. I didn't nail down a decision, but I was leaning towards Manny. And I didn't think he would ever knock Keith out. But he actually did come close, according to the reports I read. I didn't get to watch it, but Tony, tell us more. I know you did. Hmm. Well, yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it. I did see some Saturday night fights this last weekend, and I was kind of struck by one of the comments by Guillermo Rigondo there. Pretty much wiped him out with his opponent. And then he says they ask him about whether he wants to fight the main event fighter, Tank Davis, there, Javante Davis, and he says, "Yeah, that's what the event's for. Like it's already predetermined that if the main event guy's gonna win." It's like, what's going on here, buddy? And the, the main event uh, fighter. Um, the main event fighter, Javante Davis, just cruises to his win. So it's like, Yeah. Yeah, so he's supposedly back, but, I don't know if that was the best opponent for him to be going into a fight with a guy like Gervonta Davis claiming you're a world beater, and you're going to cruise to.
Best, I'm lucky to make the team. There's you know uh, high risk with potentially no reward in taking that guy. Yep. So. I did not see it. I heard that was a very entertaining scrap. I did not get to see that, but I heard that was a very good action-packed fight. Yep. And this is the fight where it's the next logical step for a guy like Kawanaki. He's rising. He's becoming, a fringe contender right now. He's probably breaking in the top 10 of all the sanctioning bodies, which is, where you want him to be at this point. Now he's taking a guy that he should beat. He should beat Chris Arreola, and he should beat him by stoppage. Should is the operative word. Chris is a guy that has a lot of experience. He's been in there with the Klitschko's. He's been in there with Bermain Stavern. He's been in there, with Deontay Wilder. He's been in there with, a lot of high quality opposition. He's, lost, in the times when he stepped up to go for a title. He's not, ascended that mountain yet, but he's the guy that, he's strong. He's physical, not always in the best shape. But he's going to throw a lot of punches. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the strongest guy. He's not the hardest hitter, but he is like in the ring. One of those guys that he's like a grinder in there, as I like to put it, like a hockey player that's great working in the corners. He's a guy that doesn't mind going in there and doing the dirty work. This is the type of guy that Kawanaki needs to beat and beat impressively to take that next step up in his career. I think in what you're going to see here, good action, early rounds, Kawanaki starting to bust him up, probably stops him 5th, 6th round, in a fight that you're going to say, hey, that was an enjoyable scrap. It ended the way I expected it to, but it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. I was watching the countdown, and Arreola just I think fits the definition of a legitimate trial horse. And I don't use that word trial horse in a negative way. I mean, you can if someone's just a stiff, but he's not that. I mean, there's a possibility he could win this thing. Like you said, Adam should win if he's on the way up, if he's the prospect that a lot of people think he is, but there's one way to find out, and we'll find out a lot Saturday. I'm looking forward to it.
This Saturday night, I was supposed to go to a fight card in Atlantic City, down at the Showboat, and it was going to be the return of Ricardo after that pretty scary knockout he took a few months ago. And things happened to talk about dumb luck. And I was going to get to take it through Christian's father, Frank. And I'm actually going to work with Frank and Christian's brother, Frankie, about maybe getting us some guests on the show, because they have some good Philadelphia pipelines here. I got us a few things in the works, Rich, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I was going to get the tickets through Frank Cardo's team. I was waiting on my friends to give me the definite roster of who was going. I needed a definite head count. And they hemmed and hawed. Finally, I got the number 4. Okay, 4 of us are going to go. And then I messaged Frank one of the Facebook things, one of the posts, and he responded with his number. Please call me for tickets. So I called, and the number didn't go through. Called again 3 times, number didn't go through. Sent a text message, no response. So now last Friday, I'm like, shit, I got to get these orders because my friends are asking. So I went back to the original post they had put up there with the fight poster. Call Frank for tickets. The number, when he typed it in, he typed one digit incorrectly. So now I got the right number, so I dial him up. Hey, Frank, Tony Pennica here. Want to get some tickets from you for the fight, blah, blah, blah. He goes, Tony, I'm glad you called today. He goes, because I was about to actually message you on Facebook. Christian's fight got canceled. They decided to scrap the whole card. So I wasn't lucky enough to have gotten the wrong number from him. I've been trying to get my money back right now. So talk about dumb luck, you know? Sometimes, hey, in life, it's better to be lucky than good. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow. So,
Wow. Well, I mean, you really, you gotten any higher level authorities in on this? Because, you know, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. That was, I mean, my big, oh, no, I'll tell you, here's how long ago it was. Because he was getting ready to fight Chaz Witherspoon from Philly. He's like, oh, you guys got any tips, against your Philly boy? And I was like, oh, I'm not giving you any tips, I know I'm not giving any tips against him. Rich, before we, get anything else, I mean, I think it's kind of appropriate to talk about, went through a couple weeks ago with, another death in the ring, this one on a televised, I think it was an ESPN card, or, I think it was ESPN, with Maxim Dadashev. And I don't know if you guys saw that fight. I did. I watched it from beginning to end, and I can, give you a breakdown on what I thought and what we said as the whole thing was transpiring. Yeah. Yeah. The second one, they said it was attributed to kidney and heart failure. So I don't know if something may have happened in the ring that maybe caused his kidneys to shut down or what. Oh yeah. Well, Vinny Paz said when that fight against Mayweather they showed in the beginning of Bleed for this. He went to the hospital because he was into like kidney failure. In his early 20s. I don't know for sure, maybe 25, 26. He was young kid. Yeah. Watching the Dadashev fight, here's what I can tell you. We were watching it as the fight went on, and I apologize because I'm losing his name right now. The Puerto Rican fighter that was the other guy in the ring with Dadashev.
Matthias.
Okay. Yes, Matthias. So when that fight started, one of the first things we said was, you have 2 undefeated fighters here. Matthias all fights by knockout. All wins by knockout. Was a very physically strong, imposing fighter, and he was kind of like straight in. And when you say something, and later you're like, you say something, and it's like it's one of your favorite phrases, but then you realize how inappropriate it was later. When that fight was going on, and Matthias was really, cutting the ring off and, backing him up on his back foot. And I said to my dad these exact words, and I'll never forget it. It was about maybe the 5th round. I said, wow, Matthias is making Dadashev work hard by just putting a lot of pressure on. I said, that's what I used to like to do a lot of times. If you go back and watch my fight with Michael Jordan, that's what I did. I put a lot of pressure on him, and I made him do the work, throw the punches. And I said, this is the term that I regret saying, it was like creeping death, because that's what I was doing. No matter where you went, I was suffocating you. And I wore you out, even if I wasn't working, because I was making you either move or punch. And you could see Matthias was getting to him more and more as the fight went on, but Dadashev was competitive. Now, my dad thinks there was a punch that, and he even pointed it out when it landed in the 11th round. Matthias landed a right hand, and Dadashev's leg almost like kicked out, like completely straight, almost like he got short-circuited. And going like into the 10th round, you could see that the conclusion was pretty much foregone. Matthias had him, but Dadashev was still moving. He was still punching, but you can see he was definitely clearly on the losing end. Buddy, I don't think you can fool him at all, because basically he stopped the fight when the fight should have been stopped. He knew his fighter was no longer competitive. He didn't want to see him get hurt, and he said, listen, I got to stop this fight. And Dennison was saying, no. He was like, please, you have to let me stop this fight. You have nothing left. I care for you too much. I have to stop this fight. And he did. It was shortly after that, he was leaving the ring, is like his legs started failing him. And then he sat him down on the steps going down the ring. And then they got two fighters, or two of his cornermen got under his arms, and they were helping him walk. And you could see his legs were starting to almost like collapse, almost looked like a newborn calf trying to take steps for the first time. His legs couldn't support him. They put him down on the stretcher, and at first he was responsive, and they were like, okay, this is good. Maybe he's just dehydrated. Maybe he just took a little too much punishment, but he'll be okay. That's what you were hoping. And then they said, okay, they're taking him in an ambulance. He's starting to throw up violently. It's like, that doesn't sound good, but I'm going to hold out hope that maybe he's just dehydrated. I know times after a really intense workout, I've thrown up. It happens, or you're really dehydrated and you're actually, dry heaving. So I'm like, maybe that's it. And they said he just lost consciousness. And it's like, you get that gut punch, when that happens. And it's like, you hope for the best. Okay, they're doing the surgery. They got the surgery in 2 hours. Okay, 2 hours. How long does a surgery like this take? Maybe they got it done in 2 hours. Maybe that's a good sign. 2 days later, he was gone, But I'd say I don't think you can fault Buddy on this. I mean, he stopped the fight as he should have. I think it was the appropriate time to do this stoppage. I think this was a case of one fighter getting, beaten, but it ultimately coming down to one punch that, caused the tragic result.
Yeah, and it was just an accumulation. And something, that weight division in that weight range seems to be where a lot of that stuff happens. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen in heavyweights, but a lot of times in heavyweights, you don't take these prolonged beatings. In that fight, everything I heard about it, he was doing just enough to be competitive. Right. And it should not have been stopped. I know Buddy McGirt would have stopped it. I mean, I heard the corner when he was just pleading with him. He says, no, I'd rather have you mad at me for a day than the rest of your life. And Buddy McGirt knows the sport backwards and forwards. Max Kellerman said the same thing. They both agreed after the 11th round when he went back, it was the way he was reacting at that point, and it was just an accumulation. And it seems like we can go back to Boom Boom Mancini in that weight range there. Those are the dangerous divisions, it seems to me, because these things just go on and on and on, and it's just unpreventable. I mean, sometimes we have seen where the refs allowed a little too much, or the corners allowed too much, or the doctors allowed too much. I didn't think that was the case here at all from everything I've heard about it.
Neither did I. And to your point about Boom Boom Mancini and the Dooku Kim fight back in 1982, if you go back and you watch that fight, which was a very competitive back and forth fight, I mean, those two guys were going at it. I mean, Dooku Kim, he brought it. If you go back to that 14th round, the fight ended like 20 seconds into the 14th. The bell rang in the center ring, and Mancini split the southpaw guard with a right hand, boom, and it caught him on the chin, and then he dropped him right after that. That was basically, and Dooku Kim, the accumulation of the punishment he took the previous 13 rounds had factored into it, absolutely. But it was that single punch was the one that did it. And I remember reading Boom Boom Mancini's book, The Good Son, I think it's called. And they even said, it was that one punch in the 14th round that basically dislodged something, dislodged his brain almost, for honestly lack of a better term. So just say Boom Boom doesn't land that right hand and the fight goes the distance, Dooku Kim likely survives. It was that one punch. And I think in the same case here, it was Matthias landing that one punch that, even though it didn't drop Dadashev like Dooku Kim went down, it was basically the same thing. It was that one punch that was kind of You don't want to say the term, and no insensitivity and no disrespect, but the kill shot.
Yeah.
And of course, as you said, leading into this, the debate, should boxing be banned, should combat sports be banned? And as soon as I went to the gym the day after his passing, one of the guys at the gym, he just pulled me aside and he goes, I he goes, I know you're involved in this, I know you have a lot of experience. He goes, I just want to understand, what happened, from a guy that has an inside track on it, what happened. And I was just a number of the things that we just discussed. And he goes, I'm surprised there's not more with mixed martial arts because there's not enough looking so violent. I'm like, that's why. Because you look so violent. Our guy gets hit, boom, he goes down, he makes times, boom, boom, stop. He's drilled and he goes down. They stop it immediately. The damage is when the guy gets up and he takes this booting. Sustained booting, that usually is the cause. And then the one fight, he was talking to some other boxing people, online, and just in gym, some people that I know that are big time boxing fans. One of the fights that we always bring up, and I will always bring this fight up, is Gabriel Ellis and Jimmy Garcia back in 1995. Jimmy Garcia was a tough guy. He was a Colombian fighter. He wasn't he was a guy that was just a good fighter. He was a good, tough fighter. And they put him in there. He had lost his previous title fight, and I forget who it was, but he lost every round. Decision 120-108 for the champ. So they reward the guy for losing every round in a title shot with another title shot. This time against Gabriel Ellis, one of the Fighting Ellis brothers. And it was the undercard of when Oscar De La Hoya knocked out Gabe's brother Rafael in the main event. Gabe's fighting Jimmy Garcia, and Gabe is completely annihilating this guy. And I mean, he's beating him from pillar to post. He's hitting with everything, including the kitchen sink. But Garcia was a tough guy. Garcia was a no guy who had a good chin. Every round, Garcia was going back to his corner. His father and his brother were the trainers. They were slapping in the face, and they were telling him to fight harder. Now, what kind of advice is that? Hey, I've worked in corners. Sometimes you got to be a Lou Duva cheerleader. Georgie Benton strategist in there. You might want to turn around and you might want to be the Lou Duva, like, get out there, this boy ain't got nothing for you. You got to sit there and you got to get in his face. You got to go after him. You got to yell at the guy. You got to pump him up. You got to be the guy. This guy's dropping his right hand every time he throws his jab. Catch the jab and then slip over to your left, counter with a hook. Once he does that, drop a right hand to the body. And you got to pick out a chess match, a strategist. fight harder, pounded the strategy. If they would have said, listen, he's learning, right hand, left hook combination. When he throws this punch, step away and counter. That's strategy, not fight hard and slap you in the face. The referee finally stopped that fight in the 11th round. Jimmy Garcia went into unconsciousness before he left the ring, and he never woke up. And that ruined Gabriel very badly. I mean, they said even in his next fight, he was having visions of Jimmy Garcia in the ring, and he ended up freezing and getting knocked out. Yeah. 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 That. Yeah. Yeah. Emily Griffith and Benny Perrant. That was a bad enough feud, which resulted in the death, and I don't think Emily Griffith ever regretted that one. Well, did you ever see that knockout when Griffith knocked out Perrant and ended up killing him?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
That actually, I think, really actually ruined the referee, Goldstein, because those fights, it was a good match. They were 1-1, and Perrant ended up, he called Griffith a couple, he used, instead of, in his native tongue, which was Spanish, but he called him a couple, slurs for being gay, which it comes out, I think Emily Griffith really was, but at the time that was a macho thing that you didn't do. And Griffith hit him and got him in the corner and started hitting him. And as Perrant started slumping, his upper body was between the second and third rope. He was hanging out of the ring, and Griffith was still over top of him, just beating him to the ground. I mean, beating him to the ground. Then he just slumped in the corner and he was dead. you know what? I made one time back in 2001. It was in the heat of the moment, and as we all know, I'm a fired up person as it is anyway. I was in a sparring session with a guy, and I had just come back off a badly sprained ankle. I wasn't able to run for a good 4 to 6 weeks. I had sprained my ankle Labor Day 2001, and I was on crutches. The doctor recommended I stay on crutches for 3 or so weeks and no working out at least 4 to 5 weeks. Well, the Eagles lost week 1, and I threw my crutches out the back door. And I said, shit, I'm walking without my crutches. I'm going to try to work out today. And I worked out, and that was September 10th, 2001. We all know what happened the next day. So that kind of distracted me for a few days from trying to work out anymore because I couldn't walk. But then I came back, and I was back in the gym by like October 1st, and I still really should have been just getting off crutches, not training. And the guy was like, "Hey, listen, so and so he just took a knockout loss, so he wants some light sparring. Would you be willing to get in the ring with him?" I said, "Yeah. I was at the fight where he lost. He got caught and he got stopped." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll work with him." Well, see, this guy had a language barrier, so I couldn't communicate with him. But the guy that was, didn't really like me that much, the one trainer that was asking me to work with him, kind of whispered to him that I was going to try to take him out. So now I'm like boxing with this guy, but I'm going like, I'm using, I'm not fighting on the inside. I'm not throwing a lot of headshots. I'm boxing him. Next thing I know, he steps in, hits me with a couple good shots. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck's going on here? Then he hits me with a low blow. Boom. And it took everything out of me. And then he starts really like taking it to me over the second or so round. I think we went 2 or 3 and they had to break us up. And I remember I was so mad. I could barely walk. And I said, when I get back, when I'm recovered, I will grip with you. I will kill you. And they actually for a while would not let us in the gym at the same time. And then he was, every time he was like I was at a different gym the one time in there, and he came over to me, tried to acknowledge me. I turned my back on him, and even other trainers are like, "Is there a problem with these two guys?" And even my dad was like, "Oh yeah." And a few months later, my trainer took this guy. His name was E. Wilson. Took him to Vegas to fight Jeff Lacey. Lacey was rising up the ranks, and this guy was communicating a little bit better, learning English better. And he goes, "Your fighter, is he mad at me?" And my trainer, Kevin, goes, "Yeah, man, you did him wrong. He was working with you and you cheap shotted him. And he wants it back." And this guy, Fiki, went up the next night. Lacey blew him out in about 45 seconds, stopped him. And as soon as he came home, he flew back to Africa. And I'm not saying that was because of me, definitely not because of me, but he realized he wasn't going to make it. He was homesick. So I never got him back. But in the heat of the moment, I told him, "I will Emily Griffith you. I will beat you to death." I know the feeling of saying, "I will kill you." I know. I've said it. When the tornado gets over, you know what happens. No. You know what? Everything you're saying about, how can there be, should boxing be banned or whatever. One of my college teammates that I'm still friends with, he had just put something on Facebook saying, "Wow, sad to see, rest in peace, Maxim Dadashov." Just very simple, very respectful, because, hey, we both boxed, we sparred together, we were both on the same team together, we both fought Jesse Bond, both said he fought like a goddamn gorilla. But this one girl comments on this guy Joe's status. It's time to get this Neanderthal sport. And I'm like, all right, look, I'm buttoning my lip. I'm not starting a fight with someone I don't even know. I'm going to bite my tongue here, which is hard for me sometimes. You know that. You know what? Some people said it best, and I think Dan Scully was one of them. Boxing has saved more than we've lost. There's a lot more people that boxing saved than boxing caused their death.
Very good point.
Yeah. It's terrible. My friend, because Mike's already like, as soon as I bring up his name, I'm like, fuck that asshole. You know, like, Mike, did I tell you what it is? He'll be like, I don't care. He beat Arturo Gatti, so fuck him. And I'm like, this is much worse. No, it's not. He beat Gatti. It's the worst thing he could ever do. Well, speaking of the world of professional wrestling, we lost another legendary Hall of Fame wrestler today, Harley Race. Known as Handsome Harley in his NWA, and then in the days as the King Harley Race, passed away today. I know he's been battling illness. He was 76 years old. So, another part of my childhood, we sadly lost. I mean, I grew up part of the, I know a couple of the Manias. I remember that. And rough rap voice. And they said, like, as a child, he became pulled up. And he was one of the legitimate, like, tough guys in the sport. So, Rich, before I forget, before we get on to any MMA topics or anything else, I probably about a week or two ago, I have a gentleman that I work with that has some connections in the boxing world. I contact one he knows named Shamar Adams. He has some guys that might be good potential interviews with us. One of them is a guy by the name of Paul Kroll, who's fighting next week in Philadelphia. Paul was, I believe, an Olympic alternate, and he has spent time on a wrongful conviction. So he lost part of his career on that, but he's, out now 4-0, I believe, all by 4-0 all knockout. I think only one opponent. Good prospect. So, but he did on there. He booked him. Also, I think I can be able to get us Sonny Conto, and I'm going to get us Christian Cardo as well, and Simon Carr, who I saw 2 weeks ago, desperately went back on the air. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Now we're franchise champions. How ridiculous can we get? Anymore? Yeah. You know, they have super champions. You know, like they have like the super champions of Diamond. So basically, look for the guy who's the WBA middleweight champion, but they determine him to be a super champion because he's not a super middleweight. Yeah. Well, but like I said, here's my question. Like, say you have Canelo Alvarez, WBA middleweight champion. Like, okay, we're going to name him a super champion, not a franchise champion, but a super champion. So how do you announce him? You can't WBA super middleweight champion because that's technically 168 pounds. Do you say like the WBA super designation of the middleweight champion? That sounds fucking ridiculous.
Teddy Atlas really had a rampage about that.
Yeah,
that was an absolute meltdown.
Teddy Atlas had a meltdown. Now that I find hard to believe. Teddy Atlas and I have meltdown. Oh. Yeah. Right.
Well, you remember, Rich, there's a lot of miles on that car. A lot of miles. Yeah, 3 years ago, I'd go with Robbie in a heartbeat, but now you just wonder if time's caught up to him. Well, like I said, a couple of years ago, Robbie, I think, would have just knocked him out. But I mean, right now, Covington's been able to back up everything he said, and just it's so hard. But I just have to slightly go with Covington. And if worse comes to worse, he can just wrestle fuck him if he's getting lit up and not knocked out, because Covington's wrestling, I think, is better. So got to go with him. But it's great matchmaking. You've got to admit, this is great matchmaking. Yeah, that's just kind of, where's the winner going? Just a big-time journeyman. Good way to describe that.
Yeah, well, before we go off the air, I did say at the beginning of the show I was going to tell you about a few of the, I'm going to say, quote unquote, opportunities that may be opening themselves up for your boy Tornado. I don't know if this is going to increase any airtime for me, which is my goal at everything I go to. Last Thursday, part of the reason I couldn't be on the air was my friend that has a bakery about 20 minutes from my house, not far from where we went to the fights that night, Tom. He's had a number of celebrities there. He's had members of the Flyers there and the Eagles and the Sixers and the Phillies. He's had one guy there as a professional wrestler, WWF back in the 90s. He had Ric Flair there, So this guy Steve asked me to debut my Phillies outfit there a few months ago. I got the new one, which I did. And he had me take photos with all of his customers. So I'm there 2 weeks ago, and he goes, listen, he goes, do you have anybody going to see the Phillies AAA team in Allentown anytime soon? That's only 45 minutes or so from my house. I said, funny you say that. I said, my parents are going up with my aunt and uncle on Thursday. He goes, do you think they'll deliver food for me? I said, probably. So he's telling me, he goes, I want to send some food up as a surprise to the radio broadcast team. I said, okay. And the more I'm listening to it, I come to find out that their lead radio broadcaster is the son of the Phillies TV broadcaster who always calls me out on TV. He's called me the Tornado on the air. He's called me Super Philly. He's called me a bunch of things. And I said, shit, this is an opportunity for me to get seen. I said, I'll deliver the food. So I went up there, did photo ops with them. I brought up a 3.5 foot chicken cutlet sandwich they did not want to share with anybody. So now I'm talking to these guys, and they're tweeting out pictures, and they're tweeting out this, and they're thanking the Tornado for coming. And people are responding, and they're like, oh, we all got to go meet there. We got to get this, whatever. And I'm like, well, shit, there's a chance for me to meet some people, too. I'm like, this is good. So 2 days later, I'm at the Phillies game. Now, they lost the game badly. When you lose by 2 touchdowns in football, it's bad. When you lose by 2 touchdowns in baseball, it's worse. But it was photo night on the field. So Bryce Harper, the $330 million player, is walking all around. He wasn't stopping, but he was walking just to see people and greet them and wave to them and thank them for coming out. And he stopped, looked me dead, yo, great outfit. And I'm like, that's cool. The manager came over for a photo with me. The lead announcer came over and goes, oh, I see you met my son the other day. I'm like, this is good. Now I'm recognition. They stood up the big screen. They interviewed me. I'm like, this is good, right? Like, okay, I'm getting a little in here, and I'm going to work this. I'm going to still. A friend of mine gives me pass to Eagle practice yesterday. It was a private practice, only had 1,000 or so people there. And I go there, I'm wearing my Eagles jersey, says Tornado on the back. Newscaster comes over and goes, why do you have Tornado on the back of that? Told her the whole story. They had me shadowboxing on the news. I never saw the clip, but they had me do it. And I got to meet Vince Papale. They made a movie about him, how he was a 30-year-old, he was down on his luck, had an open tryout with the Eagles in 1976, and he made the team. And it was such an inspiring story. They made a movie. Well, the funny thing is about Vince Papale is he and I are in a way linked because, as you know, I'm a bicentennial and I was born in 76. Now, I was originally due September the 29th, which is a great day to my family anyway, because that was my good buddy Vinny, my dog's birthday. Vinny didn't want to share it with me, apparently, even though I was 25 years older than him. So he was like, you got to come out. We can't share a birthday. So I came out 2.5 weeks early. Vince Papale's first game with the Eagles was against Dallas. They lost badly. He missed a couple tackles on special teams and almost got cut that day. And apparently at 4:30 in the afternoon, about a half hour after the game ended, my mom went into early labor because the Tornado was pissed and he came out ranting, raving, yelling, and screaming and hasn't shut up since. So I got to meet Vince Papale. I got to get on the air, got to meet a couple of the players. So, and everybody saying, love the Tornado on the jersey. Like, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then I was like, oh, by the way, you ever go to the Phillies games? Yeah. Look for the guy dressed like Apollo Creed. Come over and say hi. So, hey, every avenue I can get, I'm going to make work. That's right. Fuck those fuckers. They'll be calling me now, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. You guys could have me for free 2 years ago. You're going to have to call my agent now. We talked the guy last year about that agent thing after my commercial came out, and the one guy that was one of the guys that runs our Christmas tree a lot. He would always book me to do this Christmas dinner, Santa Claus thing, this and that. Well, I was mad at him because he was kind of like taking another guy's side in an argument, and even though I caught them both like kind of contradicting themselves, so we'll call it fake news. So I caught their fake news. I called them out on them, and so they're both kind of pissed at me. So I told my friend Mike, I said, if they try to get me to do this Christmas dinner, I'm not doing it. I said, you know what I'm going to tell them? I'm going to tell them I had to hire an agent because I'm so popular now. And he's laughing. I'm like, but then I'm going to tell him it's you. And he's really laughing. So we're working the one weekend, and this guy Dave's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, well, Dave, I said, you need to book me for anything, man. I said, you got to go to my agent. What? You got an agent now? I said, yeah. And I said, you're going to have to start paying for these events that I used to do for free. Because, I'm not doing free games. You took against me in this argument. I said, now you're not getting anything for free. So you got to go to my agent if you want me for anything. I can't believe you have an agent now. And he's going off and on. I said, yeah. So you talked to Mike when you want to Mike your agent. I thought you were serious. I'm like, I am. You're not being serious. So, and I did this knowing 2 days later they were working together, just those two. And Dave's real hyper. He's like Joe Pesci. Yeah, Tony told me he has an agent. And he's got me bullshitting. And he's got an agent. And then he tells me it's you. Mike's like, it is. Dead, stone face on it. It is. What? Tony's got you as an agent. Do people even call you? He goes, I booked 3 gigs for him this week. I got him doing a Phillies appearance and 2 Santa Claus appearances at $200 a pop. People are paying $200? Yeah, $200 for 2 hours, and I get a quarter of it. We had this guy, because he has kind of like a twitch anyway. He was blinking, he was winking, and he was like, his whole facial features were going. I think the guy was having a Tourette's attack. I had to stop and tell him we were fucking with him because I thought he was going to croak on him. Should be against me. He never go against the family. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But Rich, I will send you another email with regards to a couple of the interviews and some of the contacts I got, and that way we can start getting some of these guys. Like I said, Simon Carr saw me at a game a couple weeks ago and pulled me aside. Tell me when we get on the air. When we get on the air. I'm like, Simon, I don't do the schedule. Sorry, Tony. I want to get back on the air with you guys. I'm like, I know you do, Simon. Tom, it'll be an easy interview. You'll love the guy. You'll love the guy. We'll ask one question and we'll just all go out for the night. Dude, I'll tell you, Simon Carr makes me look like a mute. Okay, sounds good. Of course. Yeah. I'm already thinking about Halloween. Oh, I do. I walked down a block the other day from my job because they were starting to get stocked at their Halloween store. Posted a photo of it tonight. I'm like, it's not. I'll be seeing a few weeks every other day.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's enjoy the fights this weekend.
Hasta la vista, gentlemen.